on? There's nothing but God? What about us? Human beings. We're individuals. We have freedom of choice. We are entities. So what do you mean to say there's one God and God is the only reality in the world, and yet here we are. Seemingly we have our own minds, our own path in life. So what's going on? For that you need to use your Jewish brains. I'll give you an example which the sages use to illustrate that conflict and the solution to the conflict. You ready? Tzaddikim? Gentle people? Okay, for those who are on the trip, they know what I mean, right? Okay. Where's the vodka? Where is the vodka? Okay. Was it Chaim but not Buchaim, right? I remember that line. Okay. Some reason registered. The Chaim, no Buchaim. Okay. Anyway, so what's okay? So let me share with you the following. It's really an amazing thing. Think of a tree, a peach tree, an apple tree, any tree that you want to imagine in your mind, right? A tree is a very interesting thing. If you look at the tree, what do you see? You see a tree. But if you analyze it, you'll see something very interesting. A tree is a part of the tree that you never see. That's the roots, deep in the ground. Then you see the trunk of the tree, right? The tree. Then you have branches. They go all over the place. And then from the branches come out leaves. And from the branches come out fruits. So when you ask a question, tell me, what is this that you see? You answer, it's a tree. A tree is one. Everything, every part of the tree is in the larger sense the tree. But when you analyze the tree, hey, wait a minute. The fruit is an individual thing called a fruit. The fruit is not the root. The fruit is not the trunk. The fruit is not a leaf. The fruit is a fruit. It is connected and it draws its energy from the tree, right? But it's a fruit. A leaf has no long-term purpose. It falls during the fall season. A fruit is more of a function, right? You eat it, you enjoy it. Nutrition. The branch of the tree is more long-term purpose, but it doesn't taste so good if you try to taste it. Everything in the tree has a different function, and yet it's one tree. It's completely one entity. So we see that it is possible to have an identity, an entity that is one, while it is one, it is not one. That's one of the wonders of God. That's why the Torah says, Ki ha'adam eitz hasadeh. A human being is compared like a tree of the field. We get our energy from the root. The root is God. You don't see the root. You see the root, you don't see the roots. You see the tree. It functions, it looks. But only an idiot would think that a tree can grow without roots. There's no such a thing. If you have no roots, you have no tree. But in appearance, it grows on its own. Amazing thing. So a person who is intelligent understands that while there is a hidden part which is the source of the energy of this whole thing, outwardly it looks, and it is to some degree, different entities. There's a fruit, there's a leaf, there's a branch, there's a small branch, there's a bigger branch, right? That's the idea. Once explained it the following way. If a person loses his individuality, right? Very important line. Listen carefully. If a human being loses his individuality, he had ruined his godliness. For his uniqueness and individuality represents the godliness within him. He is one and only, not to be repeated and copied in any way, shape, or form. But if a person lost his sense of responsibility to the community, he then lost his humanity. You got it? If you lose your individuality, you lose your godliness. If you use your uniformity and responsibility, you have lost humanity. Okay? Because humanity by definition means that God created us as human beings who are responsible for one another. Olam chesed yibaneh. The world was established on the foundation of kindness and of goodness, that one person is worried and concerned about another person. And yet at the same time, you maintain your self-identity. In Jerusalem, we spoke about this concept. I'd like to elaborate a little bit more about it maybe. It says a verse, it says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Thank you. So you remember. Ve'ahavta, love your friend like yourself. Says Rabbi Akiva, that statement, those three words, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, represents all of Judaism in a nutshell. You ask a person, what is Judaism? Answer, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your friend like yourself. So you remember we analyzed the idea of love, the ice cream story. Not going to go into it again. But the idea of l'reacha kamocha. The Torah says, love your friend like yourself. What does it mean, love your friend like yourself? What happens if I don't like myself? That I don't have to love another person? The answer is, you know what? If you don't love yourself, you will not be able to love another person. The only way to love others is first to appreciate the self. Here in this verse is really included the principle that we just spoke about. That the Torah requires a Jew to love himself. If you don't love yourself, please dial 911. You need a doctor emergency. If somebody does not love himself, he's in bad shape. But if he loves only himself, then he's a sick person too. It doesn't go one without the other. You love yourself and you love your friend as much as you love yourself. That's what the Torah says. Yes?
No, I was gonna ask about what about someone who loves themselves too much, like narcissistic. But then you answered that. So.
Yeah, I always say honey is delicious, right? Delicious, right?
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever try to eat a jar of honey for breakfast?
No.
Don't try it. You'll throw up, right? Honey is good. Everything is in the right measure. You know, when our sages speak about character traits, what is a character trait called? Midah. What does midah mean? Measurement. That's what the Maimonides speaks about. Everything is in the right measurement. Sometimes you have to get angry. Very rarely, guys, don't worry. When you see evil, it has to bother you. have to control your anger, but it has to bother you. So anger is terrible, but sometimes you need a little anger. Everything in the world, everything is there for a reason. There's nothing which is always bad or always good. It depends how you utilize it in the right time, in the right measurement, in the proper way. That's the idea. And the idea is to become a balanced person. לא ניתנה תורה, אלא לצרף את הבריות. Our sages tell us that the purpose of the Torah is, it's an owner's manual that God gave humanity to refine itself, to become more godly.